Hey everybody, welcome to Stage Diving with Scotty. We're just going to start this thing. So, welcome, and this is happy 1 year anniversary here of this thing. Anyways,
Good thing we're not live.
yeah, I don't care. That's fine. No, anyway, so 1 year. This really didn't unfold like I guess I thought it might. It actually got a little more than I thought it would. If that makes sense. Anyways, my guest right now, since I've done both my boys, and I told her I was going to get her on here sooner or later, is my wife, Tawny Bussy. Hi, Tawny.
Hi. Hello.
So we've been, this year will be 20 years, and we've known each other for almost 30 years. So we know each other inside and out, and still are discovering things about each other.
But also still love each other.
Yes, which is the biggest thing. So this all spawned from my band, The Spacing Effect, being on the George Romero Indie Brigade, where they would talk about independent filmmakers and stuff like that. And we were a guest on there earlier on. And I think throughout the time that it happened, it kind of sparked in me that same kind of thing for bands, I guess, in a way. And so then I kind of brought it up to you at one point. I think it was more spontaneous. You're like, well, okay, what's this? what are you wanting to do? So how do you feel about this whole thing when I first presented it to you, and where it is kind of now?
I think at first you just said, I want to interview bands or something to that effect. It wasn't your heart. You didn't like express what your heart was into it. And then kind of as it got going, it got busier, and then our life was busy. And so I think the mom and me and the wife and me was kind of like,
oh no,
hey,
no,
it was
thing,
like,
right?
Hey, so you've got this band that's making this music and you're putting this music out, which is fantastic. But now you have this Stage Diving with Scotty thing. And how can I help you? And I think it helped you make like your art stuff.
Well,
and
hold on. That was the very first post. I think I took a picture of her designing the look of Stage Diving with Scotty. That was the first post, and that was today, October 7th of last year. And
October. I help him with dates.
Yeah, thank God you have a brain. It's horrible. Yes, October. Oh my God, I did it again. August 7th.
August 7th.
This time last year. But it wasn't about necessarily interviewing bands at first, though. It was about like, I just want to kind of give suggestions.
And absolutely. And I think there was just a lot happening at one time, and it was the end of summer.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if our kids were starting back to school or what was happening. So there's just a lot going on in the world. There was a lot going on in our family life. And so it was more of me going, what is this? This is taking up more time. And but then as we talked about it, and you really expressed your heart and how you felt about this and how much you wanted to like get to know musicians and kind of get to know or give them a chance to, wow, hey, that was a fun sound. Give them a chance to just talk about their music. That, I don't know, your heart really won me over. And it was like, okay, well, then let's do this thing. And what does it look like? And I was all in at that point, and then crazy life stuff happened again. And there was true. Christmas and taking breaks and whatnot. But
so then so then when this sort of, like, when you first saw like me talking about whoever I was kind of talking about and listening to, and then doing New Music Fridays and that kind of stuff, like, how did you feel like seeing like it going? Because it was a little quirky at first, because I know I did a lot of like animated things in there, and I'm like, why am I being cheesy? I'm being like too cheesy, I mean, there's me being ding dongy, and then there's me being really cheesy.
If anybody knows you, they know you love cheese. And
yes.
So I think like it was cheesy, yes, and quirky, yes, but it was endearing, and it was you. And I think that is kind of what makes it unique and special, is that you really, it's you. Like, it's not, I mean, you were in our extra, whatever the music room was at the other house, and you were like had a bed behind you that had blankets on it and stuff. And so I was like, babe, what are you doing? Because the person who puts on things in me was just like, hey, what are you doing? And you're like, no, this is just, but it's endearing. And that was what was so cool about it. And I think watching you get excited about, hey, I have this band on this week, or hey, I'm talking to so-and-so, and just hearing you get excited. That was the cool thing, the excitement. I got excited because you got excited.
Yeah.
And it was something flipped in me of like, hey, what can I do?
Yeah.
How can I support you? And what can we do to make this as best as we can for you? Who knows where it's going to go? I think I stopped asking the question of like, what are you trying to get out of this? I think the band was so on my mind. And so when this happened, it was like, what are you going to get out of this one? It's like, it's not about getting out of it. This is a personal thing, and this is a personal endeavor. And it was just really cool to watch you pursue it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what was cool. Again, because I like anything when you start something new, it's a little weird and you're trying to find your feet. And I'm still trying to find my feet, honestly, for a year later, because you get better as you do things, right? And that's why I think at first I was trying to be an interviewer, I guess, in a way. Like with Grandpa Loves Rhinos was my very first guest, and I totally love. I'm still in contact with Paul and a bunch of these other gentlemen. But Paul gave me sort of that chance to do this, to be that first experiment. him and Seth from Grandpa Loves Rhinos, and obviously there was some hesitancy and uncertainty, and thank God I edit these things because that can be a bumbling mess at times. But the fact that happened, and then it kind of went to another band, and then people asking me to be on, and then it really I think it developed into something where it was just really cool to just see people want to be heard, people to get to know them, other band members, other listeners, and get their name out there, and this being that kind of outlet, and me being that guy to help out. Because when I was in bands earlier on, it was always such a pain to get your name out there, and handing flyers out and going to certain spots and that kind of stuff, and talk with other bands to spread the word of you to them and them to other people. But it was just really cool to see where this can be something like that for other people. And the new episode of Steve Time with Scotty with Sterling. And here's
Shameless
the shirt.
plug.
Yes. anyways, all that to say, yes, you very supportive of it, and it's good to see and know that the uncertainty of it was obvious for both of us, of knowing where this was going to go when it was just suggestions, which I still want to get back to that, but that it's a little more than that now. It's helping bands out, actually, instead of just, because I thought it was just going to be me telling about my story and giving suggestions, and now it's more than that.
I think the really awesome thing for me to watch is your confidence rise. And knowing when you started this, just Scotty has a challenge with self-confidence, and
I'm totally okay with that. I admitted it.
And this has been a conduit for him that he can really increase his self-confidence. And just by talking to people, I think some of the feedback you've heard of like, hey, I love how real you are. And that, I think, is the biggest thing. But I mean,
no, I got you.
This isn't a production. And it's not like, I mean, I've seen that put on and for work and whatnot, but it's not a production. It's kind of the great thing about it. It's you, and it's not trying to be anything more than that. And I love that you've kept it that way, that you've kept it, you haven't sacrificed yourself and what you stand for with this. And I love that. So proud of you.
Yeah, well, thank you. So after a year, what do you think of, gosh, I've done 15, 16 actual talking episodes, I guess. And 2 of those were our sons. I don't know, how would you feel like expanding that a little bit more, like having Elliot reactions to certain songs? Like, you know, or Ian or
Yes.
something.
I think that
And
would
it'd be
be
kinda fun.
amazing. I think I mean, you know how I feel. I would do reaction
I
videos
would do it.
there is
I should do one
there
with
is
her.
a particular genre of music that I do not like. And I think and he likes it a lot. And so if he played it for me, it'd probably be really funny reactions. Maybe
I think
some
they would
good
be very
ones out
funny.
of it, but mostly just what's happening. So I don't know. I think expanding on it is great. I think Elliot especially, he loves watching you. He loves you
Yeah.
playing. He loves listening to you. Like he is your little shadow.
Yeah.
When you involve Ian, I think it's just downright hilarious.
Yeah. He's if you haven't seen that episode, you should see that episode. Ian, our oldest son, he's 14 years old. He has autism. He can relate as much as he can. He tries to, but he's very very distracted, and sometimes it's hard to communicate what you mean, and for him
You
to
have to be
understand.
quick with him. Like
Yeah.
you can't just expect to get even 3 minutes of his time. You need to be able to say what you need. Engage him within 30 seconds, or
Yeah.
you've lost him entirely. So like
That's why the
whatever
video is
you-
only like 3 minutes.
whatever you do with him, you
That's
just have to
That's
engage.
stretch.
But I have to say that's one of my favorite episodes. is
Yeah,
you
I
with
hear
Ian.
that
Like
from
it's
people,
just
yeah.
so funny because he's like out and then he's in and then he's out and then he's in.
And then he's just done.
And then he's done. Okay, I'm out. No, I think doing more with them would be fantastic. I think doing more with Elliot especially.
Yeah.
He's just he
He's
wants
really,
he wants to be his dad, and he loves music.
he loves music.
And he loves all kinds
Yeah,
of music.
that's
And
what's
that's
kinda
the great
fun.
thing. And he really has his own opinions about the music he likes.
much you're in.
No, there's been some stuff that he's played for me that I've been like, I don't know, like there's that
Yeah.
one like Baby Yoda song. We found it. I think
like an Elliot
I
playlist so
found
you guys
it,
can listen.
and
to
I
what
was
he
like, oh
listens
my
to.
gosh, this is hilarious, thinking it would be just a joke, and it ended up being really catchy. And we listened to it
all the time.
And it's actually a really catchy song. It's really fun. But
It is fun.
like let's see, what did he say? He loves Glass Animals.
Yeah.
He loves the new band you showed him today.
Oh, Young Culture is really good pop rock band.
I think
really catchy stuff.
I think it's great because Elliot loves some of the other stuff we grew up with, or even older. Like he loves 70s rock too.
Yeah, he loves like Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And Queen.
So I think that it's really cool to have a kid that not only is kind of like basis of older rock that or whatever, we're old at this point. So but also has that new approach to music and can appreciate new music too, or show you stuff that's newer. He keeps you kind of like up to speed with what's going on.
Yeah,
and that's fun having.
Yeah, he's definitely got a huge
then
variety.
he also loves BTS.
He
So
loves BTS, and then he loves like Brand of Sacrifice.
no, like okay, let's see if we'll talk about Elliot for a second.
Okay.
Ian, we can say Ian, without a doubt, Ian loves the song Africa.
He loves the song Africa, and he likes what's it called, Lights from
Lights. Yes.
What is
So
that?
it's Bruno
I forgot her
Mars.
name.
Well, he
No, not
also
Bruno
not
Mars.
Lights, but the Bruno Mars song. I don't know which one.
I don't know that.
It's from a movie. A lot of the songs he likes are from movies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Because
because that's what he relates to his movies.
but not Africa.
but-
I don't know where Africa came from, but he loves the song Africa, and we found there's a band that covered it that
in
do
a
like
very
an
acoustic, pretty version. Yeah.
presentation of it, and it's beautiful, and he loves that song, and it chills him out.
Oh, it's on actually that episode that I talked to him. I didn't play it, but I showed the CD, the CD cover, who sings it. So yeah.
So there's that one, but he loves like lo-fi beats, which is so interesting to me. He just zones out to lo-fi beats. I'll put something on Spotify and he just zones out to it. And it's almost like it's back when I was going to school, it was like my study music, which is just a bunch of instrumental but lo-fi beats and whatnot, and he really digs it. Like he really likes it.
Yeah.
It's cool. He'll just be like, this makes me calm. I'm like, hallelujah. But Elliot, gosh, when we listened to so his playlist, we listen always Baby Yoda first, and then we listen to it's Old Lang Syne.
Oh yeah.
Done in a acapella type
Home free or
fashion,
something, I think you're calling
which is a great song.
Yeah.
But that, and then we listened to Glass Animals, Heat Wave.
So apparently, as she's saying this, I'm realizing he has his own
Oh,
list with her, and then he's got his own list with me.
oh, how funny. Oh yeah, because there's, like I said, you should do
More
reaction videos on
screamy.
some of the music. Because I'm not a big fan of screaming music.
Slaughter to Prevail, Brand of Sacrifice,
No.
Convictions.
No. They think it's funny to play that at me in the car when I can't escape. So no, but yeah, like I guess that's really cool. That's a really good observation.
That's
he
fun,
does
yeah.
have different tastes
With
of
the-
music depending on who he's with,
Yeah.
but he loves them all equally, and I love that about him. Like I love that he has his own taste of music.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's great too. And then he does that with you. He does that with me, and a lot of times too. Like he'll listen to radio, and sometimes like we'll listen to like country music, and he'll like country music, and we'll listen to praise music, and we'll listen to praise music, and he loves all that stuff.
For King and Country. I mean, loves for King and Country, and
Yeah.
no,
So
it's
neat.
it's just a cool thing to
Yeah.
see your child growing up and having his own opinions about music and whatnot. I know that growing up, I had a lot of freedom with music and was allowed to listen to pretty much anything I liked. My parents played some amazing music growing up, so I had access to some great rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we're children of the 80s and 90s, so I grew up, when I got to choose, it was Pearl Jam and Nirvana. I think Elliot has so my music taste. I have a very random, I have an eclectic mix of music that I like to listen to. And
Well, that's like Paul. Paul and I were talking about that the other day.
I'll go from like Baby Got Back to
Yeah.
10, or throw in a little Nirvana, and then maybe Primus, because I love Primus too. And so it's just so interesting, like.
And then Shania Twain, and then yeah. Well, but again, that's what was so funny. Paul and I from Sterling were talking the other day, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll get like punk, rock, and then like 3 rap songs, and like and it's just
Heck
so funny.
yeah.
Everybody's different playlists, and just got a mix of everything.
Throw in a little Eminem.
Yeah, which he can do really well.
To rap. So
Anyway,
yeah, I think that's really interesting. What
yeah.
was
That's cool.
what was your first like 2-3 albums you bought?
That's a good question. I wasn't expecting you to ask me a question.
Yes.
All right.
Like, do you remember? I mean, I remember very much what my first
I didn't.
albums were that I bought, that I purchased with my own money. They were my own CDs back in the day.
No. Okay. So I remember buying Tourniquet.
Okay.
I know that no one can relate this, right? It was an old Christian thrash metal band. So I bought Tourniquet. I bought Vengeance Rising, which is also another Christian metal band. And then I remember it felt like, speaking of like holy, I felt like when I bought Pearl Jam 10, I felt like that was like, oh, like this is the album of albums, because I was in love with Pearl Jam and Eddie Vedder.
My first albums that I bought were Tim McGraw, because you need to have a little country in your life.
Wasn't it Violent Femmes?
No, why can't there?
Oh, sorry.
Jeez. No, it was Tim McGraw, Green Day, Dookie.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And Violent Femmes, 10, and Smashing Pumpkins. And I don't know which album it was, the Smashing Pumpkins. But those were kind of the ones that were always on my repeat, and I listened to. But Pearl Jam definitely was my, I was a grunge girl for sure. Had the Doc Martens, shaved the underside of my head, went to the show. I got to go to the show of Pearl Jam that was at the Polo Fields back in Indio, California, which is now the site of where they hold Coachella Fest.
Okay.
When they're holding Coachella Fest. So this is way pre-Coachella Fest. But I remember that show was insane. And I think it was kind of the thing that started the Coachella movement. It was a crazy show. I think Eddie Vedder got really mad at us, or a lot of the people, because they were throwing shoes.
Oh.
But I just
heard about
remember
that.
being, making my way towards the front, because I'm short. I was small, and I made my way towards the front. I remember looking at my brother, who was 3 years my younger, and I remember seeing him fly through the air because they thought it'd be really great to throw him because he was so small. And I mean, we're in this giant, I mean, there's thousands of people, but that was so monumental for me of like, that's my brother flying. It's just, but it was just like, that was a cool show. That was the first concert. It was not my first concert, but that was one of the first ones that
was incredibly
was
memorable.
my choice to go to. Yes, my first concert was actually Guns N' Roses. And my mom.
Really?
My mom took
I think I remember this.
my brother and I took Guns N' Roses.
How funny.
I was so young and definitely smelt and saw things that I shouldn't have at that age. But I remember, pretty sure we fell asleep during November Rain because we were so tired and it was so long.
Yeah, they put on very long shows, I've heard.
It was very long show, but oh gosh, Chris Cornell, what?
Yeah, Soundgarden.
Soundgarden opened and he sang the entire
right.
time with the mic and a bullhorn, and it was awful. It hurt your ears so bad. And ended up loving Soundgarden, but did not like them. And I thought they were ridiculous. I thought that was stupid, and I'm pretty sure I was like 11.
Just bring them Guns N' Roses.
11
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, this is hurting my ears. So I don't know. Music has always been a part of both of our lives.
Yeah,
in a very different fashion. But you're a musician. I am not a musician. I tried to be one, and I tried to get you to have me in one of your albums, but you just won't do it.
Well, there was a long time ago when we first moved up here, and I discovered GarageBand, and it was so slow and everything, and I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I'm still learning. I was trying to record ideas and stuff, and I came up with a song. It was a very catchy rock song, and I threw it, and it had one of those choruses that kind of like everybody can sing along. And I remember, and I threw I think you in the closet. I threw my mom in the closet, I think, too.
That doesn't sound so great. Don't say threw us in the closet.
Yeah, I know, but no, but we did. But that was like the extent of what I've actually had you do. But that was kind of fun. And it's a catchy song. I thought of redoing it again.
That was fun. I have very much enjoyed when you've included me in some of the
or even lyrics.
Writing the lyrics.
Even lyrics.
Like, that's
She's
really fun for me, is helping you with lyrics.
Because that's one thing Tawny and I bonded over too, was back in the day when we were what, 14?
Yep.
Around that, yeah. We were really big into poetry. And of course mine was, self-loathing and angst and, a lot of 9 Inch Nails and hating myself, hating life. And then,
here's the crazy thing about that. I got to see the beautiful stuff because you showed me the beautiful stuff.
Oh.
I didn't fall in love with the angsty black heart that you presented to everybody else. I got to see true Scotty that wasn't self-loathing. I got to see the Scott that saw the beauty in things, and I loved that. I fell in love with that guy.
Yeah.
And which I think is the true self. Because
I think that was just focused on the lie so much, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But you weren't, I don't think you were with me. You weren't focused on the lie with me. You tried it first. I think I called you out on it.
You totally did. Oh no, I was a total ding dong.
I was like, no.
It's like, oh my, before emo of the 2000s was a thing, I feel like I had that kind of like, oh, poor me, my depressing, because I did greatly suffered from depression, but, then there's points where you kind of over exaggerate to, because look at me kind of a thing. And I kind of did that, and I overdid it.
I remember I wrote you a letter. I still have that letter. I saw that book that I wrote that for you. And it was not calling your bluff necessarily. I guess that's not a good phrase for it. It was seeing past the curtain you put
There
up.
you go.
And I got to see the moments where you were super helpful with other younger kids. I remember seeing that because we went skiing.
Yeah, that was part of the letter. Yeah, that's right.
I remember seeing you be helpful and being just so kind and giving. And it was like, there's no way that this person that you're explaining, that you're saying you are, is that person, because what I
Yeah.
see is so different than what you're saying. And we didn't grow up at the same hometown, or we didn't go to the same school or anything. We lived an hour and a half away from each other. So I didn't get to see you every day. I got to see you once in a while. But,
That's true.
you know,
Yeah.
it was more like, don't pull the curtain over it. This isn't you.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was
Good point.
seeing, and equally, you saw me for who I was, and I
Yeah.
saw you for who you were. And
Yeah.
that was
All the heart.
the crazy thing is Scott and I met when we were 14 years old. We now have a 14-year-old son, and I think that's the craziest thing for me is like,
It's really
I
weird.
met you when I was his age.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, he's
I
in
am raising
Yeah.
a miniature Scotty.
Yeah.
Elliot is Scotty.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. The world needs more of you.
Yeah. Did you ever get to see me play in a band?
Yeah, I think you were back then. You were Unchained.
Oh yeah. So my old punk band was called Unchained. We were a Christian punk band.
I got to see Unchained play. I got to see
Okay.
Solace play.
If I find any of these videos, I promise.
I got
when
to see the Cochinos play.
Once we played once and we broke up.
There. I was there.
It was great. It was like pop rock. It's like it was fun, and Chad and Jonathan was fun to play with, and I think Jim was the other guy's name. I think.
I don't know.
But we broke up after a practice. Something happened between Chad and Jim, and just broke up, and it was like, well, that was old news. That was a hot second. Yeah. Okay. So you did see. Okay. So you got saw Cochinos. Oh, I think even Shannon and Fong, some people from my old work,
Possibly.
from Bed Bath and Beyond, they came and supported us.
Mhm.
Saw that
Yeah,
show.
I saw you play under the guise of all three of those bands.
And did you ever see Solace play?
No, I saw Solace play.
Yeah.
Did I see Solace play?
I just
Yes,
man,
I saw
it's,
Solace.
that's the problem is when you get older, you don't remember all these things.
I did see Solace play because it was Unchained and then Solace and then Cochinos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw Solace play. Yeah.
Did you ever see the ska band?
No.
No.
I think you had old videos of it, and I saw those, but
if I find some of these videos, I promise I will put them up. So my friend Kane, Kane Soa, I've been trying to have him on here for many times, and him and I were in we were doing whatever the heck we were called. We always play at Josh Blevins' house in the backyard and record ourselves playing cover songs, and it was like ridiculous, but it was fun. But we ended up doing a ska band involving some other people. We were called Thumbs Up.
I love that.
We played one show at some sort of church or something, and then nothing happened from that.
No.
It was bad. How did you feel then when this thing all started? But with Spacing Effect, when I started getting involved with Max Wassa, and she kind of lit the fire underneath my butt and said, you've got talent, go find start a band, do it, just go do it this time. Because like I've said before, I think I've said before, I was getting to a point where I've been up here for so long. I tried to find bands to be involved with. I had given up, and I tried to do solo stuff, and my solo stuff was just getting frustrating because I don't know, I just felt like I was stuck at a point. And Billy, my brother, showed Max a song or two of mine, and Max said, no, you need to do this.
She was right.
Yeah. And she said, I think I remember, we were at the old house. I was in the backyard talking with her. She goes, just go to Guitar Center, go online, and just find something, look for musicians, talk. And lo and behold, it didn't, I forgot how quick it was, but it seemed like it happened pretty quick. I ran into a few people, and then I was on Band Mix, and I ran into Aaron. But what caught my eye with Aaron was he had some of his own songs that were posted, and they sounded very like Chevelle, very Helmet-y, and that drew me to his style. And almost he had a song that sounded very kind of Foo Fighters-esque as well. And then we connected, and then we talked on the phone, and it was just like, all right, this is going somewhere. And he lived in Folsom, and I lived in Lincoln. And that was only 35 minutes away or so. And then
because you had talked to other people that were further distance. It was harder to put something together.
We connected really well when we met up and did this scratch song that I came up with. and maybe I'll maybe I'll share that online sometime and show you what we kind of teased around with. But yeah, so then how did you feel when you kind of saw what was going on and saw my heart, because you know I was going to give up and just be that guy who used to play music?
No, I was very excited.
Yeah.
Because I love when you play. Like, I think we were just talking earlier and he was just strumming on the guitar, and I was like, that's actually some of my favorite music that you play, is just when you pick up your guitar, your acoustic, and it's beautiful. It is so beautiful. I think I've asked you several times, like, please record that just so I could like listen to it as I fall asleep. And it's not a bad thing. Like, I want to fall asleep to your music. No, it's so relaxing and it's just so beautiful. And
that's what Ben Lopez used to say to
and
me.
I just love when you play. Like, you come alive when you play.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very frustrating to watch you when you get like stuck, but you always come through, and you always, even if you have to take a day, you know, you come through and you just put forth some great music, and I just love watching you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Spacing Effect started, you know, it was kind of one of those like, where is this gonna go? Where we kind of done this a couple times, and you know, got all the things and got all the equipment and got, you know, it's always been, this has always been, well, if I just had this, I could do this. And it's like, okay, let's get you that. Well, if I just had this, and it was like, I think that when Aaron came along and you guys really clicked, it sort of took away all those excuses. And I love that. I love that the excuses were finally ripped away from you, because you could just create music. And so, and it's been fun. I think that probably one of my best memories of Spacing Effect this far is you trying to come up with a name. The Spacing Effect, because I'm probably not helpful at all. But it would be like, what about white wall? What about bright lamp? I mean, anything, just because it is just so many things at that point. So I think everybody was just trying to come up with something, because you guys had like pages of names, and then we would like, you tell it all to us, and then you'd whittle it down, and then Aaron would do the same. And it was just the funniest thing of like, how many different names could you guys be? And, you know, I love the other meaning, like the actual meaning of what the Spacing Effect is. I love that. And I felt like that was kind of well, as a learner, I really liked it, learning over time. But it was just, that was a fun experience. And I think even when your first album released, just being able to celebrate you guys, that was fun.
I'll never forget, and I'll even share on here again too, is that first time. Every musician dreams of the day, at least back in the day when it was a thing. I don't know if it is now, but no, I would say it still is now. But hearing the movie, okay, so what's the movie? That Thing You Do. I know Paul and Seth mentioned this, but yeah, that moment when you hear your song on the radio and they're running, you know, one of the guys is running down the street to tell his family or whatever it was. That's how it felt. We knew it was going to be played. Thanks to Corky Breyer.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry, Corky. And that moment we got to capture on film when he got to play it, Killing Time, for the first time on the radio. And it was being played on the radio for people to hear. And man, I'm telling you, that was such a surreal feeling. And everybody in the house was freaking out and having a good time. There's that picture of you and I, and we were just kind of covering our mouths. And that was such a surreal feeling. Just felt like a dream come true. So that was a really, really cool experience. But I'm glad I got to share that. With you. And it felt like all this hard work kind of was starting to pay off. Yeah. And I'm sure it was for Aaron too, because I know he was super excited when this was going on. I was like, we're on the radio.
That was fun.
That was a really cool experience.
I mean, that was a great experience. I think, you know, watching the numbers of like, hey, so we're popular. Where were you most popular? That was the funniest thing, seeing the different countries. That
the radio play,
yeah, the radio plays. I think France.
Like, yeah, it was like France was huge, and I think Germany and Ireland, and it was stuff like that. Yeah, so it was quite popular.
I don't know. That was fun to watch the like culmination of all of your hard work.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know what that's like to work for something and then to have it happen and then like I don't know, going back to school is kind of like then you get to see that happen. You know, you get to hear yourself on the radio and just that your hard work is paying off. And not that it's a monetary thing. It hasn't ever been about that. It's just been about making good music and putting it out there for people. I think that's the kind of the great thing about you guys is it's not about how much money can you make.
No,
it's just
it really can't be
it's more
about
of
that
like
anymore.
just who can you
It used to
reach and just
exactly.
play some good music.
Yeah.
And so that has been I think stage diving with Scotty it feels a lot like that too, especially in this year of going where you were to where you are and something that started so small.
Yeah.
You know, you got inspiration from Music Brigade, and then right.
Indie
Not
the
indie,
film.
Sorry, not indie music.
The
The film, George Romero.
George Romero.
And you got like such inspiration from what they were doing. You're like, hey, I want to do this too. What do you think? And it was like, okay, go for it. See what happens.
Yeah, even there was even talk of, or I was talking with George about, maybe having it being part of the Indie Brigade. But in a way, I'm as much as I love George, and I know George liked the idea, but I think it was good that it spawned to where it's its own thing right now.
Well,
Which is
and
cool.
you've made some really great friends
Yes.
out of this
That's been
too.
really cool
And
about all
that,
of it.
I mean, as your wife, the fact that you've built this community, this supportive community that you can like lean on and that you can talk to and just bounce ideas off of, that is so cool that you have that. And I'm so grateful for all of the guys that you have surrounded yourself with, not physically, because
Obviously
the world
distance
we're
and
in.
stuff. Yeah. All
But
that too, yeah.
the fact that you've just made these connections and made these friendships and it's just I don't know. That's been really awesome to hear.
It's that cool camaraderie without necessarily having to, play at shows. I mean, that's one of the cool things about playing shows was always the camaraderie with other bands and getting to know them and becoming friends and stuff. And now this is kind of that thing, and not just that, but now it's like you got the whole world to tell everybody about these bands that are trying to get their name out there, trying to get their music heard. Whether it's and whether it's for just to be popular or to just do it, fulfill their dream, or even just to reach out to people, which is a huge thing. Because like even like our new album, like I'm excited about some of the songs because I feel like there's a couple more personal songs on here, which one of them is just about you. And then that's what's cool about a lot of these people that I've talked with is that they're just trying to do the same thing. They're just trying to get their name out there. They're trying to friend other people and just, as hard as it's been with the inconsistency of this pandemic and stuff, it's been really cool to see people really gather together with a common binder, such as music, and I think everybody's really searching for stuff out there that will connect everybody. And and everybody's just looking for whatever it's fitting for them at that moment. There's a band for every mood, every emotion, and again, that's why I try to. And for me, a lot of it's rock based, but I'm not gonna shun other styles, but I mainly focus on rock-ish styles.
You should have your son suggest some people too.
No, I thought about that. I thought about doing that. But.
Well, can I take a second?
Take a second, lady.
I just want to say thanks, Max. Wasa, thank you. Yeah, this has been a crazy ride. And honestly, so many of us that are in Scotty's circle, that are in his family, that we've supported and loved his music for so long. But I think having somebody from the outside who's in the world come in and show confidence in what he can produce has really sparked this amazing, like, I don't know, just new vision. It's given you like new vision and like new drive. And that's been so cool to watch. And so thank you. Thank you for believing in him, believing in his music, and thank you for everything you do.
And thanks to her, and thanks for George. Thanks to George, and again, and I thank Paul from Grandpa Loves Rhinos for again just being that first person to kind of dive in and go, okay, you got a show. We'll be your first guest. Why not? And
Yeah.
I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And again, it's still a little rough waters, but I love that again that people are seeing what this is about now. And I'm still going to go back to suggestions, like, what are you listening to Wednesdays and New Music Fridays? But I'll combine them because it's just so time consuming. But talking with bands and talking with people has been just a joy to hear people's journeys, get to know them better, and see where they want to go. That's such a great thing for me. So, well, thank you for being my, I don't know, I guess it's a 1-year anniversary. So just thank you for being my guest on
You
my
are so welcome.
1-year anniversary. I love you. Thanks for being supportive.
Anytime. Always.
Always.
Period.
Always. Oh, yeah, there's no period.
Period.
She hates the fact that I have no period on my always. All you Harry Potter fans.
As a copy editor. Just kidding.
Anyways.
But not really.
All right. Anyways.
We gotta go, kid. We got a kid to go pick up.
Yes. All right. Anyways. Thank you guys again for a full year. I'm hoping to keep this going for as long as possible. Yeah. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for all that you do. Keep at the grind. And again, like I've said before, there's always someone out there that hasn't heard your music that needs to be touched by your music. So keep going at it. Don't give up, as much as it sucks. But and again, I am here for you because I would love to spread the word of your music and who you are. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.